Hey guys, how's it going? After I scheduled the live, I was like, "Ew, there's a moth." No, that's not what I was gonna say. After I was like, do I really want to do this? But I figure I could go live, I guess, for an hour or so and just talk about things. Um, hey Whistle, hey Luminous, hey Tasha, Connie. Thank you guys for being here. Hey Michelle and Linda. So Fred's around somewhere. There's PG right there. I wonder what she studies with Glenda Head for. What would Glenda Head and PG be talking about? I wonder. This is Cotton Simpson's ex-wife, and she and Ryan are probably about to get everybody out there in White Holler probably hemmed up because no way are you going to come out here and start telling lies about Fred and not expect us to respond. Or, that's why they come out being all, sneaky, not telling what they are, saying names, like covering things up because they don't stand behind their truth. They don't stand behind what they're saying. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to do all that. So this is the woman that was with Pete Clark, like when she was dating Pete Clark, and she was dating Pete Clark around the time that he passed away. And before that, she was married to Cotton Simpson. Cotton Simpson was a known meth cook in the area, and Glenda Heads used to be the area that they would all hang out and do their drugs and cook meth. All of them out there. It's a hangout. It still is. So this is really, I mean, Ryan's gonna get people freaking hemmed up and a bunch of shit. But if you think you're gonna come out here and freaking say bullshit lies to cover these people's ass, you've got another thing coming. Because do you understand who they're harboring over there? Did you hear this story, Ryan? Fire officials, 3-year-old killed in Greene County camper fire. Twin sibling suffers serious burns. Remember that mud slut that Jody Sue likes to bring up and whatever, talk about the girl that was in the woods or whatever. Yeah, this is who she was talking about. That couple, they had twins, and 3-year-old twins in 2020, May of 2020. And it says a Wednesday night camper fire killed a 3-year-old and seriously injured their twin in Greene County. The fire happened on Woolsey Road. Responding deputies described the camper as engulfed in flames. When responders arrived on the scene just after 7 p.m. Wednesday, they found the camper already burned down to the floor. Nothing, it's just ash, says United Chief Jay Willen. Willen said the 3-year-old twins were inside the camper when it caught fire. According to an eyewitness, the father was there. The father rescued the daughter out of the camper, and the little boy perished in the fire. He wasn't able to get the little boy, said Willen. The father was identified by authorities as Robert Inbody. He reportedly handed his daughter off to first responders, then fled the scene. That is Cotton Simpson's, just so you know, replacement that's hanging out over at Glenda Head's, hanging out over there. Right after he rescued... What?
And where that camper burned is where Marlena's old man was storing all of the stolen stuff.
Yeah, it says right after he rescued the child, he got on his four-wheeler. Right after he rescued the child, he got on his four-wheeler and left out of the back field, says Willen. Authorities weren't able to locate Embody immediately afterward, but Greene County Sheriff Wesley Holt said Embody showed up at the sheriff's department Thursday morning. The mother of the children, aka Mudslut, was also briefly at the scene Wednesday night when spoke with authorities. Willen said it was unclear if she also lived at the residence because she gave authorities conflicting information. Everything's conflicting from the mother with what was going on in that house, he said. Police reports said that spliced together extension cords were running between the camper and trailer and a nearby shed. A welder was hooked up to a generator. Also in the shed, a moon sign still plus 2 55-gallon drums filled with what's believed to be corn mash. As for the surviving twin, Willen said, she was flown to the hospital in Johnson City Wednesday night. I don't know how she is today. Last night, when she was transported out, she was burnt over 90% of her body. So anyways, they didn't arrest anybody, but they ended up finding out later on that they found like it was because of meth cooking. That's what they suspected. And, you know, even if it wasn't, what are you doing making moonshine in a camper or in the shed, and also in the shed, a moon sign still, plus 2 55-gallon drums filled with what's to be corn mash. So anyways, these people took off after that fire and they started freaking hiding out on Ben Hill Road. See how this is May of 2020? They started hanging around Ben Hill Road and Light Holler. And they ended up over at good old Glenda Head's, Cotton Simpson ex-wife. And now that's where they like to hang out and do their drugs and stuff. And this is who Ryan finds freaking absolutely nothing is talking to and trying to smear Fred's reputation, trying to make him out to be something because of what this person's telling him. Somebody who's in active addiction. Her house is like the place to go do drugs in the area. You've got to be kidding me. Cotton Simpson's ex-wife? Do you, like... Are you serious right now? And there's PG right there. Look right here. Here's Bill Shipley. Yeah, it's not taking sides. See somebody say something, what's right is right. This is not a taking sides. You don't freaking get to say that you freaking saw text between Cotton and Fred about Summer Wells and not show them and just say you turn them to TBI. You say you've had it for 2 years? 2 years? Does that seem 2 fucking years? Did you turn it in back then or just turn it in now? What is it? So, anyways, it makes complete sense because these people are afraid, I guess, of, I don't know. You guys tell me. This woman was married. What is she hiding? Why is she reaching out to, or PG and people like Ryan, which Ryan came out of nowhere until when Cotton was mentioned, by the way. He even said so himself. Who is he coming out for? Like, was it for Andy or did it have something to do with the Cotton Simpson stuff? That's the same. It was Fred that went to law enforcement about Cotton Simpson. That's how we started talking about it to begin with. So, yeah, that woman is definitely, I mean, these people are still in active addiction. And what I would think, if this is actually, what I would really look into is that woman and the people hanging out there, because what are they trying to confuse and hide? They're going to get themselves like completely caught up, because all this is going to do is get us, like I said earlier on my other channel, is going to get us looking into these people even more. Like, why are you putting out this bullshit lies? Kyan and Fred never spoke together on the phone. And why is Ryan allowed to say such bullshit and put out zero proof of anything? Hey, Jam Jam. That's what I'm thinking. See something, say something. He's gonna. And, you know, they put us in a position that we're obviously going to have to put these people out here, because we're not going to sit there and let Ryan put out these lies without it investigating, and because he won't tell us who's saying them. You know, he blurs out everybody, or just, you know, he's hiding. It's like, why are you hiding the sources? If, like, everything I mean, you can't, how can we, like, really understand where the information if we don't know all the variables and who it came from and the context? Hey, Donna. That is freaking constant. That woman is Betty Jo Simpson's daughter. You guys, I don't want to see what they're saying and stuff, because that's just going to get me off track. If that's what this is. Oh, now it was a black Nissan SUV. Now he wanted to clarify on the family who found Mr. Simpson's vehicle last night. He referred it to as a truck. I called it a truck, call it a car. Either way, it was a black Nissan SUV found by the family we interviewed. Cotton had been missing for 2 days before they noticed it hadn't moved. For proof, they showed us video of when Ellie was called to come pick it up with a black video. Okay. Oh, these are very reliable witnesses that we're supposed to just believe you, Ryan, because you fucking say so. Everything I've always showed my correspondence to law enforcement to show proof. What about when, you know, Fred had his phone dipped, all this shit he turned in? I've always showed proof of it. How is he going to come out and just say, act like, oh, now he wants to correct it? He had to correct it because we fucking corrected you, Ryan.
It wasn't even the Nissan that he was at the house in. He was a Chevy Equinox. Black Chevy Equinox.
Yeah, what the... Yeah. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, for proof, we saw the footage of the police coming and getting the car. Wow. How did you know that these text messages were between Fred and Cotton Simpson? What proof do you... what? Fred never text anybody. He never used a phone... So that's one of the big red flags. And what is he going to come out now? For clarification, it was Facebook messages, not text. Is he going to come out next and say that shit? For verification? Yeah, of course you want to correct something after the fact because we called your ass out on the vehicle that Cotton didn't have a fucking truck. But you wanted to clarify, oh, call it a car, call it a truck. That is very important information when we're dealing with a child missing, Ryan. The details are fucking important. Just like the people who's saying this, we have to know it's important to verify the shit that they're saying. And that's why you don't want us to know, because you know it's bullshit. And you knew when we looked into these people, we would fucking know it was bullshit. So the people that he was interviewing was freaking the woman that they're looking into's daughters, the woman that they're looking into for Cotton's death. At least they were. Her daughter. It's all family. They're all family. But people, just because they're family doesn't mean they cared for Cotton or liked Cotton. I hear he was a real asshole the last 20 years of his life or something. He got some kind of brain damage and it changed him from what I hear. So well, how does she think I feel? That she's sitting right next to her husband and confirming the bullshit lies he's saying. How does she think I feel, or Ryan or Fred fucking feels? Does she think of us? I'm just wondering. Or is it all about how much money you can make? You're going to be thinking of us when you're fucking in court, I'm telling you. We're going to be suing your asses. Not when you're actually effing in court. I don't mean it like that. Not literally. Doesn't he get that Andy will take him on the biggest? I wouldn't be surprised if it was Andy that led him right over to Glenda Heads. You know what I mean? So I guess we have to be the bad guy and put these people out there, because they want to be anonymous and talk all kinds of shit about Fred, and because they don't stand behind what they're saying because they know it's fucking bullshit. Otherwise, they would come out here like Fred and I do and tell our truth. I know her girl. I don't want to see her cry either. I didn't see her cry because I didn't watch it. And I'm sure I would have felt bad too, even though these people, all the shit that, she's standing behind, because while she's sitting there next to him, she's co-signing on his bullshit. Thank you, Judy. He should have to. He came in here remember when he said he just came from the conspiracy community and that he was like part of a community on some kind of like Reddit type forum type place where he said he was part of the conspiracy forum and he had to leave that because the drama was too much. And here he fucking comes to our community pretending that he was just searching the world to say he probably doesn't even have a brother. I mean, I don't even know anymore what to believe. Showing the world to my disabled brother. Then the next day it's, I'm searching for Summer Wells and I just want hardcore facts. No psychics allowed. Next day, my wife's always had this gift. What's it going to be next? Maybe she was interrupting like crazy. Probably because she was embarrassed. Probably because they were drinking or drunk, like usual. Every time they're live, that I've seen, they're drinking. Like I guess you'd have to be drunk or on something to sit there and be able to spew these lies and bullshit 24/7. Oh, thank you, Connie. That's so sweet. This is all alleged, by the way, not, absolute fact, just like Ryan likes to put out, saying he saw these, or that he has these text messages between Cotton and Fred, but watch, now he doesn't have them, right? Because he turned the phone into TBI, the whole phone. So yeah, okay. You don't have any type of proof of these messages at all, right? And then the other thing, what did he say? He turned, what's the other fucking shit he supposedly has? And of course, like I shared on my wall, his response. Hold on. Now, since I'm on my laptop, it won't show the whole thing. So, somebody asked Ryan a question. It says, I have a question. Did you actually see the text messages between Fred and Cotton? That is huge in this case if you actually saw the text. Not being rude in any way. I am here for Summer. Good question. Oh, here comes Ryan saying, in any other case I'd answer and may share with specific people I trust privately. But with the bullshit people are telling me, the usual suspects are saying, I tried to pull up the usual suspects. Yeah. Sure, Ryan. You're just not confident. You know you're full of it. Tell me, but with the bullshit people are telling me, the usual suspects are saying, what I shared in the live about that is all I'm going to share. TBI has it and they'll use it if it's important. You are such a fucking liar. Well, you'll have to show it in court, so. Which you won't have anything. You will not have anything, and you know it. That's how did I know you weren't going to have anything, Ryan? How did I fucking know? This is reminiscent to like Fred's sister. That stuff she tries to say, oh, I have all kinds of stuff on them, but never comes out with anything. So they have to make up shit and come, talk about our electric bill and shit like that, because if they had anything, they would have put it out.
It has to exist before it could be even turned in. When it's never even been there to be turned in, never even happened. When nothing's even happened, it can't never be turned in.
Yeah.
It's a straight up lie.
And all these Cotton's family and stuff, and those that's coming, and you're talking to, or to freaking Ryan behind the scenes, and PG, don't be mad at us about exposing your asses. You shouldn't have fucking lied on Fred. I take this shit very seriously. This is my life. So you have nobody to be mad at but yourself. I know you're going to be pissed at me for putting you out there when you guys went to put out some lies. It only makes you guys look more sus. Especially at this point in the game. If you would have done this 2 years ago, like Ryan claims he's had for 2 years. So wouldn't you turn in these messages then? Did you do it 2 years ago, or did you just do it? I agree. See something, say something. He said yes. Of course he has of course. But he doesn't want to reveal his sources. Well, I just did, so let's see it. I just revealed your sources for you, so go ahead and put it out there. Just like I revealed to everybody you're a liar about Cotton having a fucking truck. And then you had to correct it on your wall and say it was a black Nissan SUV, which isn't even the freaking vehicle that Fred saw him in. So it's pretty funny that you tried to correct it. Oh, it was a black blah 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 blah. Funny. You just are such a liar, dude. You're gonna dig yourself in a hole. Yes, Mountain Mama, that's him. Oh, you desperate piece of shit, motherfucker! I barely know Fred. Okay. All right. I'm all right, Tina. Well, bye bye. I don't care. I've known him since the end or the beginning, very beginning of 2022.
Cotton did own a truck, but it wasn't running or nothing over it. It was a little blue S10, old square body type.
Yeah.
Haskell Rhymes, so supposedly
he should be held accountable legally. He absolutely should be held accountable legally, and he will be. That is absolute fucking just absolute ridiculous claims. Yes, it is, T-Walk, so I'll help you out. I'll help you walk your way out. Oh, I know. That he asked on his wall for, but, you know, we're the biggest grifters, right? He needs to be sued for real, for real. Like, this shit has to stop. Put his ass in his place because this has gotten old as fuck. It's been years, and they're still grifting off this poor little girl. I know. I'm so over this shit, dude. I'm so pissed. I hope that there is people that's really mad and will help me, you know, move this lawsuit forward, because this is, and it's not at all about any type of money or anything. This is for showing that I'm not going to sit here and let you walk all over us and put out lies in the name of Summer Wells to try to move us backwards all the years that we put and time we put into this case. And then at the same time, try to paint Fred in a certain light. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm glad that I understand, Mountain Mama. I'm sorry to hear about that. I'm going to use that itty bitty shovel. He came in the month that Fred went to jail. And so I thought it was because he claimed on his, from what you guys told me, that he came in to contacted me to get to Fred because of the Cotton Simpson interview I put out. Pretty weird that you just so happened. Now it makes sense, because you were the one to get his chirp taken the whole time. You were fucking up to something. You were trying to cover for the Cotton Simpson shit. Seashell, he did, and he says it's all, like, what he's seen so far is complete, like, not correct. I know there was a video put out recent, but their last video before was completely, like, just not correct information. Thank you. Exactly. Are you guys sure that was really good? Because Fred's, are you sure this new one's, it is good? Did you end up watching this, Fred? This new one? No, not that one.
Good afternoon. We have another short
right here.
Disturbed ground. Use radar to look below the surface. Was the
Limu Limo at your service. Here to help you save hundreds by customizing your car insurance.
Body? No answers. But But now, a quiet shift is happening, one that could change everything. Investigators have returned to the Wells property, focusing not on the house, but the perimeter. Why now? According to sources, it all centers around a 2-hour gap on June 15, 2021, starting at exactly 4:30 p.m., when a crew of tree trimmers packed up and left Simpson Road. From that moment, Ben Hill
I don't know. It just starts out not even correct still. Or not correct.
fell silent. What if Summer never left the property at all? What if the truth has been buried, hidden in plain sight, just feet away from where dogs searched and officers walked? And if what's being looked at now is what we think it is, this case may not stay cold for much longer. The return of TBI agents to the Wells property wasn't announced. There was no press conference, no media swarm, just quiet movement, vehicles, equipment, and a subtle, focused effort near the outskirts of the land.
Yep.
But they didn't zero in on the house itself. Instead, their interest shifted to something far more specific, the perimeter. More precisely, a spot near an old, nondescript shed that sits at the bottom edge of the property, close to Beach Creek Road.
Right?
This shed has always been there, but now it's back in the spotlight.
There's not. The evidence is they've never ever spoke. Is it distracting or is it? Oh, I'm not sure if it's all factual, just about the current search that allegedly happened. Maybe they are. I don't.
And there are several reasons why. The first clue that something was happening came not from law enforcement directly, but from Dawn and Candace themselves. On a community Facebook page dedicated to finding Summer, they mentioned that TBI had recently been back on the property. But it wasn't a full-scale investigation. It was selective, focused. Why? Some believe it could be due to a new tip. Others think it's the result of forensic reanalysis, soil, scent traces, or anomalies missed in earlier searches. In missing person cases, it's not uncommon for cadaver dogs to fail, especially if the body was moved, masked, or buried shallowly under dense ground cover. That may be what's bringing investigators back. The shed near Beach Creek has always raised quiet suspicions. It's not visible from the house, and it's partially obscured from the road by trees and elevation. From the outside, it seems like a harmless storage area.
It's not obscured at all. But I don't think. But anyway, that's not that big a deal.
But it also provides just enough cover for someone to hide something without being seen. If a body, or any key evidence, was ever temporarily hidden here, it could easily have been overlooked. The terrain around the shed slopes downward. Thick vegetation grows fast in East Tennessee summers. In June, leaves are full and dense, creating natural camouflage. This is critical. Even during the early days of the search, investigators admitted they couldn't guarantee full visual coverage of every inch. There are cases, well, documented ones, where bodies were later found mere feet from the original search zone.
That's true.
Simply because search teams overlooked blind spots.
That is true. I mean, you can't deny that. And I've said that before too. Like, for sure, is one of the things I was saying. I think when RJ was on the panel last time, is things like that have happened a lot.
If the shed area was ever skipped or not thoroughly examined at depth, it's possible something was missed. What makes this area even more suspicious is when TBI decided to come back. Their renewed interest seems to correlate with the now infamous 4:30 p.m. time window on June 15, 2021, the moment the tree trimmers left Simpson Road and the area became completely quiet. From that point on, if anyone wanted...
Did they leave at 4:30? I don't think that's true. Don Larry told Josh on his show when Josh asked Don if he thinks he'll be arrested or similar, and Don said how there would need to be evidence, and there isn't any, and they won't find it. Well, it is. I don't think I believe that. I think they've got to be involved, but there is, a couple weeks after Summer went missing, Don had that whole incident where he tried to act like he was helping that little girl who was a Simpson, related to Cotton Simpson and all them. So was it to get back for something to do with Summer Wells? I don't freaking know, but there did seem to be some animosity between the Wells and the Simpsons at one point, didn't there? Or something like that, or something about Light Holler, like there was some kind of like.
Well, there was a conflict supposedly between Pete Clark and Don Wells and Frank Light.
Yeah, Pete Clark.
I don't know what it was about.
There's Pete Clark, Linda Head's boyfriend, right, at the time?
The tree trimmers, I think, was in there a little bit later that day because they had a bucket truck that was stuck in a field at Goalies, and they was trying to get it out unstuck.
Oh.
But it was probably 4:30 or something when I still seen it.
To move or hide something without being seen, they had the opportunity. A shed, quiet, isolated, out of direct view.
I just don't think that the shed's not like so hidden and out of direct view. I mean, not that one that he's talking about. That's right there at Beach Creek. But
serve as a temporary concealment point. If Summer died accidentally and someone panicked, this spot would be a logical first move, especially if they plan to relocate her later under the cover of night.
I just don't see that.
Or during another time gap. So now,
Why would you hide her on property?
TBI is back. They're digging, scanning, searching again. They're not chasing rumors, they're following something concrete enough to justify time, resources, and boots on the ground. The question isn't just whether Summer left the property. It's whether she ever even moved from it at all. And if she didn't, if she was hidden right there, near that shed, in the shadow of searchers and spotlights, then the silence that followed 4:30 p.m. may have been more than coincidence. It may have been a cover. From the beginning, the timeline of June 15th.
Oh, really?
That's at 165.
That's Fred's parents' pond, his house pond. That pond that they were searching right here. That's behind 165.
Yeah, it's 165. My dad's property. We actually completely drained it there at last.
Yeah. Yep. So this is right behind. This is the Hill property. I don't know if I want to watch all this or not because right now, I just.
May have been more than.
For one, it's I can't look at that like that. I can't see her not coming off the property because what was Andy doing on the road then? I mean, I guess there could be. I mean,
there's some of it okay, but there's some of it that, I mean, they talk about like Grant or Candy Hire taking on an SUV, small SUV and stuff like that. I mean, there's little stuff that don't matter, but overall it's pretty good.
Oh, you saw this one?
I think I've seen that.
Oh,
they made two.
Okay.
Two different ones. I think they made two different ones. I'm not sure.
Right. Hair curlers and crime. My theory, I have so my number one theory is there was a debt for sure. For sure there was a debt. And they got money off her, or that was what, yeah, I absolutely believe there was a debt. And that's
I mean, they talk, the one video where he's talking about the scent letter left the basement door and stuff like that. And that's why I quit watching some of it, because they talk like a
Then
whole
why would
shit
Andy
was
be
just
on the
at
road,
bottom
though,
of the
Luminous?
door,
What's your
basically.
theory for Andy being on the road? You know, there has to be an explanation for that. You know, there has to be. I got other theories. You think Dawn Wells took her off herself? Buying and using on kids. Because, like, let's say he was just hiding drugs, like some thought, or saying, but how? That's way before Summer was called in missing. Let's see, but let's keep watching. We don't have to go over that.
Coincidence.
I mean, I feel like a broken record with that. If people don't want to believe me that he was on the road, or believe Fred that he was on the road and that Fred worked straight with police, then you guys will see over time. It's not that big of a...
It may have been a cover.
We know
From the beginning,
the truth will
the timeline of June 15th, 2021 has been a puzzle with missing pieces. Most of the known movements, neighbors working in their yards, YouTubers driving through to film, even random deliveries or local traffic, tapered off by late afternoon. The only consistent presence that day, aside from the Wells family, was a crew of tree trimmers working on Simpson Road, not far from the Wells property. Their shift ended at 4:30 p.m. sharp. They packed up their equipment,
Simpson.
returned to their trucks, and drove off. And with that, Ben Hill went silent. In a rural place like this, silence isn't unusual. But on this day, the quiet that fell over the area wasn't just natural, it was significant. For 2 hours, from 4:30 to around 6:30 p.m., there were no workers, no visitors, no known witnesses moving through the roads near the property. That gap in activity matters more than most realize, because shortly after 6:30 p.m., Candace Bly, Summer's mother, made the 911 call that would launch one of the most frustrating and inconclusive missing person investigations in recent history. What happened during those 2 hours has never been fully explained. Candace has offered conflicting timelines, mentioning everything from gardening to watching YouTube videos.
Are you looking to establish your business using an address other than your home? Wish you had a professional
To helping her mother. Don Wells, Summer's father, wasn't home at the time, but his phone records and statements have also raised more questions than answers. In multiple interviews, Don has shifted the narrative about when he arrived, when he learned Summer was missing, and what he did in those first moments. But what neither of them have addressed directly is this: they were likely the only people who knew exactly when the area became truly empty. This is crucial. If someone wanted to dispose of a body, or hide evidence, in a way that reduced the chance of being seen, the departure of the tree trimmers was the green light. The Wells would have known the crew's schedule. They could hear the trucks. They may have seen them leave. At that point, with the property quiet, the roads empty, and no eyes on the perimeter, there was an opportunity. This 2-hour window isn't speculation. It's built on verifiable facts. The tree trimming company, according to local sources, follows a consistent routine. Workers are usually finished by 4:30 and gone by 5 p.m.
Summer
They don't linger.
dress?
That day was no exception. Their exit created what's known in investigative terms as a low-risk gap, a time when visibility, accountability, and potential witness exposure drops dramatically. If someone acted during this window, their chances of being seen or interrupted were drastically reduced. And yet, until recently, this time frame wasn't heavily emphasized in the public narrative. Early on, attention...
I mean, I don't know about that. I think that we all... I don't know. I think we all actually paid attention from that. We're really focused on that time frame, especially at more like 3:30, 6:30. But yeah, we definitely did look at that time. That was very much focused on, right, around 3:30 to 5. That is very suspicious. So 3 blonde girls say Sarah Summer, probably. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go. Summer looks like a blonde version of Candace. If there was any accent cover, there are several possibilities of who was involved, and only those scenarios involve Andy. Don's just said a couple days after Summer went missing, he just knew something was going to happen to Summer, and also said someone came up there and took her off the property. In the press conference, yeah, she was last seen in early afternoon. But I think we're good to go, guys. I know it's a short one, but I've got out what I need to say, really.
Yeah, that one little girl that was in that blue shirt, she was the little girl that had missing in, I can't remember if it's Alabama or Georgia, that they tried to say was Summer.
Huh.
Yeah, it's definitely not Summer.
Huh. You didn't think that looks like it was in taken in their house, so